February 8, 2023, and the time is 12:20, and we are gathered here today for the Pawnee Business Council quarterly meeting, which actually began last Saturday and was recessed until today. And I'd like to call our meeting to order at this time and ask Councilman Evans if you would render an opening invocation for our meeting today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for the honor for this. Noah Tias, Tiruahat. Lord, Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for our lives. And Lord, help us to believe in ourselves, to know that we can make a difference. And that when we work together, we can do great things. And help us to keep in mind the potential and the power and the goodness that can come from us as a Pawnee people. And with that, help us to remember each other and to take care of each other and to reach out to those who are who are ill or not able to care for themselves as well as they should. Lord, let's remember our veterans, those who are far away doing the service for all of us, and help them to feel our presence and our appreciation. Today, also please bless this food that we're about to eat, and bless those who prepared it for us. Lord, we know at times we fall short, and help us to each day try to do that little bit better, not make those same mistakes again. Thank you for these people, these honorable people, and help us to do something good today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. No, thank you. And I see that we have a fine lunch over there, and so Gene, if you could lead us through the line too, and guests from the college, if you'll follow him on through, and then we'll follow you guys, and we'll go ahead and get our meal, and perhaps begin to we could do a working kind of a working lunch and see how we can move forward here today. give my compliments and also my thanks to Sky Goodfox for the fine meal. Chili and cornbread is great for a rainy day, and it was very good food. I want to welcome all of our visitors today from the college and the community that are here, as well as those who are up on the screen who are appearing virtually. And with that, Mr. Secretary, if you would call the roll, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Walter Eckerhawk.
Titaku.
Jordan Canuho. Here. George Gardapi here. Carol Chapman.
Here.
Cynthia Butler.
Here.
Donna Hare.
She's excused.
Gene Evans.
Here.
Sammy Kimball.
Here. Thank you, council. We do have a quorum. And our next item is approval of the agenda. It looks like, is there any amendments, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, I do believe there is one change under new business number 1. We are going to change that from the clean energy grant submission. We're going to reclaim that number to the 2023 tribal budget extension. And those are the only changes that we have.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Folks, are there any other modifications of the agenda that anyone has? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the changes in the agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Vice President, second from Councilwoman Butler. Call for the vote, please, sir.
Jordan Canuho.
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman.
Yes.
Cynthia Butler.
Yes.
Gene Evans.
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. We have our agenda. First up on the agenda is approval of the minutes, and we have 6 sets of minutes to approve. The first being approval of the PBC special meeting minutes of June 10, 2022. And those minutes have been provided by Jamie. And are there any comments on the minutes? Cynthia, I'll recognize you.
I'll make a motion to table this set of minutes. Under open forum, it has CM 1802, so I'm guessing that that's just a placer for them to go back and type in what was supposed to be in open forum. So just to allow them time to do that, I'll make that motion to table.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Evans. We do have a motion to table. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Jordan Canuho.
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman.
Yes.
Cynthia Butler.
Yes.
Gene Evans.
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. This motion is tabled. Second item is approval of the PBC special meeting minutes for June 17, 2022. And any comments on those minutes, folks?
I'll make a motion to approve with punctuation changes or corrections.
Okay, do you want to identify those for the record or no?
Oh, there's a lot. There's commas.
There's a
It's
lot.
just commas and periods, and they'll figure that out.
Okay, all right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve with a second. Any discussion on the motion, folks? Hearing none, call for the vote, please, sir.
Jordan Canuho.
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman.
Yes.
Cynthia Butler.
Yes.
Gene Evans.
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. Next up are the minutes, the PBC special meeting minutes for July 7, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve with punctuation edits.
Thank you for that. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Evans, for your second. Any discussion on the motion, folks? Call for the vote, please.
Jordan Canuho.
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman.
Yes.
Cynthia Butler.
Yes.
Gene Evans.
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. Approval, the next up is approval of PBC special meeting minutes for July 14, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you for that. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you for your second, Mr. Secretary. Any comment on the motion, folks? Call for the vote, please, sir.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardner, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. Next up is approval of PBC special minutes for July 20, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve with punctuation edits.
Thank you for your motion, Cynthia. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you for your second, Dr. Evans. Any comment on the motion, folks? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardner, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. Finally, is approval of PBC special meeting minutes for January 3, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you for that, Councilwoman Butler. Is there a second, folks?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Is there any comment on the motion, folks? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardner, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. This brings us to our next agenda item, and that is the Pawnee Business Council President Report. That report, folks, is in our materials, and so I'm just going to try to briefly highlight some of the parts of it. You can read it all at your leisure. This is a quarterly report for the fourth quarter of 2022, the months covering the months of October, November, and December, bringing the year 2022 to a close. And the period began in a relative lull in the pandemic, even though it's still with us. I think due to the vaccinations, we were able to weather the pandemic during that period. It began with the Pawnee and Arikara reunion in October at the very beginning of the quarter. Throughout the quarter, the Constitutional Convention continued. The Business Council met 7 times during this period to conduct the business of the nation. Some of the highlights during this period, as you'll go through the President's quarterly report, include work in the area of intergovernmental affairs. Was very active, not only with the President's work on the Secretary of Interior Stack Committee, but also with the White House Summit on Tribal Nations and the visits that I had mentioned on the January report that I gave, conducting business of the nation during that week as well. Also during the period, Pawnee Nation hosted the United Indian Nations of Oklahoma here in this Rome Chief building to address issues of interest to the Oklahoma tribes. I'm glad we were able to host that. Our oil and gas work group met regularly throughout the period with BIA and BLM to explore better collaboration between the nation and those agencies to find mechanisms for following tribal law in oil and gas matters. Also during the period, both the President and Executive Director met with Secretary of Interior Assistant Secretary of Interior Indian Affairs Brian Newland to discuss a proposed fracking policy for the Pawnee Nation, and those negotiations continued during the quarter. And we met with EPA leadership as well to look at the EPA's negotiations that we have going there in connections with Pawnee Nation versus EPA regarding the safety decision. The area of health and medicine, work continued on the Behavioral Health Center project, including financing and pre-construction issues. Furthermore, the Pawnee Nation Leasing Act went into effect in that period, securing Heath Act leasehold mortgage opportunities for the LLC if needed for financing purposes. In the area of high-tech communications and alternative energy, appeared like the USDA's Rural Energy Pilot Program was fixing to make a grant award to the Pawnee Nation for $2 million with a $400,000 match for solar and geothermal project that would bring our nation into the green energy era. And also pre-award work began for the USDA award of $25 million for the rural broadband project that we have underway. In the tribal economy, work continued on the proposed revisions for the TDC Articles of Incorporation. Under Carol's leadership, work on the Pawnee Nation budget continued in that period with the goal to achieve a balanced budget going into fiscal year 2023. A number of legal issues were addressed during the period as well in cases that are laid out in the President's quarterly report, which also there was a lot of work in terms of strengthening the tribal government, discussed in the President's report as well. Work continued in the Cultural Resource Division to strengthen and protect Pawnee culture. And the objectives for the next quarter in the first quarter of 2023 for the President is to continue to foster unity, goodwill, good chemistry, and mutual respect among all of our government officials and staff, and to take the high road to begin pursuing federal funding opportunities to implement the Pawnee Nation Strategic Infrastructure Plan. Secondly, to continue to work to strengthen the government and improve its operations and services. Third, to continue the Constitution Convention. Fourth, to make appointments to fill vacancies and strengthen our Pawnee Nation committees, boards, and commissions. And fifth, to secure and deploy funding for the Pawnee Nation's War on Trauma. And so with that concludes my quarterly report, and I want to thank the Pawnee people for my opportunity to serve the nation during that quarter. And it's my hope that as the year 2022 came to an end during that quarter, that we will continue along on our path towards emerging from this pandemic as a stronger nation than ever before. And so I thank you for that, and that concludes my report. Next, we have the Pawnee Business Council Committee reports. I'd like to start with Sammy down there at the end of the table, if I may, please, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Akijaru, for joining us today. My quarterly report for the Dahara Committee extends out from late last year, wherein we decided on a council level and on the Dadaha committee level to cease our negotiations with the SMIs in Kansas. Unfortunately, we weren't able to come to terms with their negotiating for more and more. And the expense of actually owning that facility was just beyond our scope at this time. So we chose to walk, and that is an unfortunate thing, but we're hoping for more donation possibilities. In the meantime, the Ag Department has asked that they join the National Tribal Buffalo Association. The council approved that. We are now members. We will be engaged with them. It's a great group of different tribes, multiple tribes within the nations, I think over 30. And one of the benefits is training and sourcing of equipment and such, and also the ability to receive and raise the buffaloes coming in from national parks and other government jurisdictions within the nation. So that's a wonderful opportunity. And I understand that Sunny Fields went out to, Sunny Boy Fields went to the national convention, which I didn't know he was going, but I'm happy he did. And thank him for that, and we'll be getting a report from him at our next committee meeting. And that was just 2 weeks ago. In the meantime, the IT and the communications department are on pause. When Ms. Jennifer Gover-Littleson came on board, we met, and she asked that we might just allow her to run the day-to-day operations, which I think is absolutely right. And so until we have any type of policy changes or we have any type of IT-related consultation between J.D. Young, our business partner, and such, we will just keep it like that. And the same goes for HR. We have a new HR director here, Charles Gover, and his day-to-day operations is managed and supervised by our executive director, Jennifer. So with that, unless it's policy related, we will not be meeting. And in the meantime, I also have the cemetery committee. The cemetery committee is actually includes our Nasharo Council and also our cultural committee. And we are in the midst now of rewriting some of the policies and such, our statute that President Echohawk was so gracious to let us review and modify. So we are working on that. One of the things also that's on our plate is the acquirement of our cemetery equipment. So late last year we bought the artificial turf, we bought chairs, we bought a canopy, we bought the mechanism for lowering caskets and such. Now we're just waiting for some good weather and for the training, the cross-training by the Poteet Funeral Home to our nation employees within our maintenance department to be able to operate that equipment. And this in itself will be saving our nation families $500 right off the cost of the expensive funeral charges. So that will be a cost savings to all of our nation members, and the canopy is beautiful. It's been shown here within our meeting several times, and I'm just really happy to look forward to having that put in place. We are also writing a script on what to do when someone passes away within our nation. We have many members who live out of state that don't know who to contact, don't know if they need a funeral feast, they don't know really the protocol. So we are in the midst of also writing that. It'll be coming into council and eventually over to our communications team to upload onto our SharePoint site. So with that, that's what I have today, and I hope it made sense. I'm just talking off the cuff. I left my notes. So thank you, President.
Thank you, Sammy, for your report on your committees. Appreciate the work that you're doing for the nation.
Sure.
Dr. Evans, floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Echo Hawk, and thank you so much, Mrs. Kimball. You just do fantastic work, and I'm so glad that you're with us. Medical Advisory Committee, we've not met this quarter. Enrollment Committee, Mr. Gardapi will be doing the main report, but I did want to just say that, as I did last quarter, that for the second quarter in a row, we have had less new citizens to the Pawnee Nation as we have lost. We have shrunk. We are less of a people. And I just want folks to be aware of that this isn't some distant future issue. It's right now that we are losing our population. And it will only pick up speed with our aging population as each month and year that goes by. So thank you. I'll be followed by Ms. Chapman.
Thank you for that report, Dr. Evans. And Carol, floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. I gave my report last time. I have to report more budget meetings. So James and I are still currently, we have a resolution here to extend till the end of this month, but we are trying really hard to get the balanced budget balanced. And the weather put a stop in our meetings. We were all working on it together with Jennifer. And so anyhow, that's what we've been doing, is just trying to get more to the goal of the balanced budget. And I want to thank again Finance Department. They've lost 2 key people who did a lot of the tasks. And we're currently looking for a finance director. And then we lost an accountant too. So they have pulled together and have done double duty. And I just really appreciate all their work that they do also. So.
Thank you for that, Carol. And does that conclude your report?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, the college is here. I'll let them do that.
Yes, okay. I think it's so important to get to the balanced budget, for the 3rd year in a row,
Right.
And so
Right.
take whatever time you need. And I too want to join you in thanking the finance department folks to stepping up to the plate, during the loss of the personnel over there, So
Yes.
it's to their credit that they're able to continue on with us, without missing a beat, So that I
Yes.
appreciate that too. Vice President Canujo, floor is yours, sir.
Yes, thank you, President. As far as my report, I have Planning Committee. Just as I reported in the last meeting, we met once, and that was for the ACP, the Affordable Connectivity Program offered. So that right now, that grant is in review, and so hopefully we are able to get that. Nothing really on the horizon as far as reviews. We meet on an as-need basis currently right now, and so just whenever other grants come in, we'll review that as a committee. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you for your report, and I appreciate all of the work that you've been doing. And you're really becoming our star fundraiser, so I appreciate all of your work, for the nation, sir. Secretary Gardapi, floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, so Enrollment Committee, I've already previously reported, and thank you, Dr. Evans, that is true. We have more deaths in our tribe right now than we do new membership, and it is a trend that's starting now. So when we get together in this Constitutional Convention, when we talk about constitutional changes, I mean, that is a major thing, the membership. And it's not going to go away. It's only going to become more of a problem as we go. So just for everybody to keep in mind that membership is a big issue, and for good reason. And then Ag Committee, I've already, we've talked about that. We finished our Agricultural Resource Management Plan. It's in review. That's a 10-year plan. Very happy that is completed. And then when the Housing Authority comes up, I'll be discussing on that point, on our housing activities. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to add.
Well, thank you for that report. And I just want to echo, your concern, and Dr. Evans. It's one that I share as well. And we are clearly noticing here that we are on a trajectory of going extinct under our, we have more members who are passing away than are joining the tribe, and so not a month goes by, it seems like over the past year, where our tribe is getting smaller and smaller. And so this is an issue facing the nation. It is a problem, and we know we need to find some kind of a solution, hopefully through the Constitution Convention. We don't know what the right approach would be to amending our membership criteria, but we do know something needs to be done. And I just wanted to right brain that, for our visitors and folks that are appearing here online today, that it is a problem. Cynthia, floor is yours.
Thank you. So I'll go right into governing documents and talk about convention. I did write some notes down from them, and I did add in my quarterly report the minutes from the convention. They are also posted online for anybody who wants to go online and see the minutes of convention, see what the convention or the delegates are working on. So that stuff is posted on the website. So during the fourth quarter, we talked about several articles. We haven't finished these 3 articles, and well, I'll say 4. One of them is membership. The other one is Article 7 and Article 8, which is forfeiture, recall, suspension, and removal, and the Shire Council, and membership. Those 3 do have work groups. We are working with some work groups to make some possible recommendations for revisions on those, and they are continuing to work on those articles and talk it through, and then they're going to bring them back to the convention floor. The other one is duties of officers, and I think that we moved that one on in this last quarter, but it was discussed in the fourth quarter as well. We did work on Articles 9 and 10, which is courts and Bill of Rights, and I think that there were some recommendations made for those for convention floor that was done in January. There were some other amendments and recommended recommendations for Articles 11, 12, 13, and 14, which were amendments, meetings, adoption, and severability. I can't remember what the proposed amendments were for, and I think it was just discussion on the amendments. On the meetings, I think the only thing that was added was to add virtual meetings. That was one of the options because, we do have virtual meetings, especially whenever we came out of the pandemic, so they thought that recommendation would be appropriate. The adoption, I think that was a motion to recommend to strike. And then there was the severability. I think that was the other one that they recommended to strike out of the Constitution. So there was one adding an article, and that was recommended, and I think we moved that onto the convention floor, and that is the savings clause. And I couldn't pull it up, and I was going to talk a little bit about what that was, but I couldn't find it in my notes. But I will get that posted. I think we have it posted on the website, so if you have any questions on that, you can probably go on there and look at that. So that will also renumber our articles as well. There was other work that was done, but it was done in this first quarter after our last convention meeting. So I'll report later on that. We do still have the scholarship for governing documents, and we did not give any scholarships away for the last quarter for the fall semester, but we are continuing to raise funds for the scholarship. We are actually, and I'm thinking about looking at the scholarship to see why people aren't applying for it. So we're going to look at the application and make some revisions on that. If you're in college and you're going for, I think right now it's just anything in government, tribal government, any tribal Native American studies, please apply. It's money for you to spend towards school, and you don't have to jump through hoops to get it. We want to give it to you. So, and all you got to do is just write an essay and provide a couple other documentation, and that's it. Be a Pawnee tribal member. The other thing that we're working on are the law and order codes. So we're continuing to work on the codification of our existing laws, and we're working on what that entails and what we're doing, because I know that there is a work group that was established, and we kind of tried to get, we don't want to overlap anything. So what we're doing and what we're focusing on from the resolution that was passed was putting these existing laws and giving them titles and putting them into the law and order codes because they are laws. So we're going to give them titles and then hopefully and pass all of that on to the work group because they're going to actually do updates on the law and order codes. So it's going to be different from what we're working on and then what we're passing on for them to work on. They're going to be able to find the funding to do that, to hire clerks, to hire the people that will do the indexing and just kind of make it uniform so that it's easier for people to, tribal members, lawyers, the courts, to find it through indexing. Be easier for them to research. The things that we're working on for the next quarter, which would be this year, we're continuing with the Constitution Convention. We want to complete the codification for the Pawnee Nation laws. We're going to continue to fundraise. We have a fundraiser coming up in March. We will be raising funds for all of our scholarship programs, so you guys come out and support. I know we have several committees who do have these scholarships, so we're going to be raising money and put it in the pot for all of those scholarships and just kind of disperse it whenever we get those applicants. We're also continue with reviews of the governing documents, and we will be getting, I know it's too late to probably do anything with the Pawnee Nation Election Act. I know we needed to address the withdrawal of a candidate, so I just want to let the council know that we probably still need to discuss that maybe for after this election or something, maybe later on in the year that you guys can look at that. And it is a need because it was a need then whenever it happened, and it still needs to be addressed. So I'm just putting that out there, letting you guys know that is probably something that needs to be addressed in the future. I'm also the chair of the Princess Committee. Princess Committee is always active. So I added some pictures and everything into our quarterly report. I updated the quarterly report onto the website for anybody who wants to go and look at it. So we met in October. We met monthly. We met in October 19th, November 2nd, and December 7th. And for the month of November, we hosted the Native American Heritage Week, and I threw some pictures in there. We had Ribbon Skirt Day. We had wear your past princess shawl and banner, which is really geared towards a lot of princess stuff. Our Pawnee Nation princess did the word of the week, along with other members of the tribal community, of the younger folks who did that for the CRD program. We did hold our election of officers for 2023. I can go, hold on, I'll name who they are. So Tiffany Fritz remains as co-chair. Lisa Goodday is our new secretary, and Reva Howell is our new treasurer. So those positions changed over for this year. And then we did give out a spring scholarship, we were getting ready for spring scholarship. We did give out a fall scholarship in that August, but then we did make some changes to our spring scholarship for 2023, and it was more geared towards women empowerment. The other scholarships previously was for just specifically past Pawnee Nation princesses, but we went ahead and opened it up to all women and just named it an empowerment scholarship. So we did report we will be sending out a press release for this semester's scholarship. And then we started working on the Pawnee Nation Expo Director position and the SOP for that. The committee also sponsored a hand game during Hand Game Week on December 29th, and we had a really good turnout. We actually raised some money. We didn't intend to, but we're always thankful and glad for those who come out and support our Pawnee Nation Princess in our committee. And we had a lot of people there, and it was a really fun time. If you didn't come, please come next year or this year, and it'll be fun. Last thing I will report on is our Pawnee Nation Princess activities. So she's very active. She tries to represent everywhere she goes, and she does represent everywhere she goes. She attended the Homecoming Parade, the Tulsa Native American Day, Fall Feast, Pawnee Indian Veterans Halloween Hand Game. She did the Word of the Day for CRD. She attended an event at Oklahoma History Museum. She was at the Tour Hand Game. Generation Citizen, I'm thinking that's an organization that she went to a dance, I think. Pawnee Indian Veterans Day and Christmas Day dances, Native American Heritage Week, and then she was a hostess at the USDA visit with the Chamber of Commerce. And I'm not for sure if everybody saw her Christmas card, but she had a Christmas card that came out, and we love doing that with our princesses. It's so exciting to see people, people love getting that from our princess, and we enjoy doing that with her. So things that we're working on for this next year are the mentorship program. We're going to continue to do that. We're getting ready for the selection of our new princess. And we are going to finalize the Expo Director SOP, which we already made that appointment, and she's attending meetings, and she's excited, and she sends us all this information that we're getting, and it's really exciting to see them get excited about what they're doing. And then we will be awarding the Princess Committee scholarships. I think we've already awarded 2 of them, but we have 1 more, and then we'll be doing a press release on that. But that's all I have for my committees.
Thank you for that, Cynthia, and that concludes our Pawnee Nation Committee reports. And folks, I would like to just thank all of our committee members for serving on our committees. We've gone to great pains to appoint to these committees the best people that we could find, and we do have a lot of talent among our tribal membership here. And so these are volunteers who are coming to the aid of the nation, lending their expertise and their time and their efforts, on our committees, which are an important part of the tribal government, because the committees drill down into some very complex and diverse issues and present some sound recommendations to the Business Council for our deliberations here at this level. And it's very good from my perspective to see that our committees are cranking on all 8 cylinders, working hard within our government to do their assigned jobs that we had laid out for them. And I want to thank each of you Business Council members for chairing the committees that you do chair. It is a time-consuming work. It usually happens at nighttime, just like the NBA. It happens at night, and or weekends, and so I do thank each and every one of you for chairing and providing the leadership, for the committee work that does go on here. President is ex officio member of all of the committees, and I pop in and out from time to time, and it's always very impressive and very illuminating to see this work going forward on behalf of our Pawnee people. So with that, next item is the Pawnee Nation College report, and I want to welcome to our quarterly meeting Mr. Les Riding-In, who is the chair of the Pawnee Nation College Board of Trustees. Miss Cordelia Clapp on the Board of Trustees as well, and our acting president of the Pawnee Nation College, Stacy Burns. I want to welcome you and also extend my personal congratulations to you, for stepping up to the helm of our Pawnee Nation College. And folks, the floor is yours. Our next item here is the Pawnee Nation College report. So floor is yours. And I will also note that Dr. Evans, as well as Secretary Treasurer Chapman, sit on the college board as well, and so we have some very esteemed folks here, and I welcome you and turn the mic and the floor over to you. Les, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to represent the college, and I want to share with you what we have been doing this past couple months. I'll be doing some reading. So Pawnee Nation College is pleased to announce on December 10th, 2022, at our last BOT Board of Trustees meeting, that we selected Ms. Stacy Burns, who you just met, as acting president of Pawnee Nation College. President Burgess, former President Burgess, has retired, and so we're very excited to have Stacy on board. She has been with the college for quite a while, 10 years? 14, she says. So we're in good hands. We're going to be beginning year 2 of the 5-year NACTEP grant project that year began on October 1st, 2022. President Burns may talk a little bit about that if you ask, if you don't mind. Then we have the partnership with Nebraska Indian Community College has positioned Pawnee Nation College on a positive trajectory toward accreditation as we continue to meet our educational goals. We continue the $1 an hour tuition rate. We continue the laptops for all of our students. Our goal is that all of our students, when they graduate, they'll have 0 loans, no loans. And so we're working very hard toward that goal. That's very important for us. And I also want to mention our upward enrollment. We've had, this past term, fall 22 semester, 59 students were enrolled. And so that continued the upward momentum for the college. Regarding Bacone College, we will be forced to go toward mediation with them. It is moving forward, and we hope to have some sort of resolution in the next quarter that we can report. Pawnee Nation College is updating all our handbooks, the college catalog. This is part of our accreditation processes, so that will be part of our management plan going into this next year. Pawnee Nation College has developed an MOU with the Pawnee Nation to initiate training of tribal staff or positions within new health and educational areas via funding from the HRSA grant. So, one thing I do want to add to this report is offering a visit. Please, anytime you want to come visit the college, let Stacy know. You're always welcome, and open arms. So that's an open invitation from us. And you're also welcome to join us at any of our BOT meetings that we have. Our next one will be on March 11th, 2023. Now, Stacy, did you want to add anything? We're doing it? Any questions?
I want to thank you, Les, for your report. Council, are there any questions of Les? Comments?
I just had one. Thank you, Les. The college is doing some really good things here. I just wondered if, I think President Burns gave us a little summary of accreditation. Could we kind of have a little recap on that? What?
Also, Stacy, please introduce yourself in your brand new capacity to our council and to our tribal membership as well, if you would, please.
My name is Stacy Burns. I've worked at the college for 14 years. I'm a member of the Choctaw Nation. I'm actually the project director for NACTEP at the college and the HR director. And so I'm just taking this role while we get some things in order and try to help, get it set up for a really good president coming in. So excited about that. I've been working on accreditation, and that's one of my main goals for the college. So we have a consultant coming in, and she was at the HLC conference with me, and so she's going to come in and do a proposal with the board. She's going to spend about a week here before the meeting, and she's going to kind of go over the new criteria, because there's a lot. It's changed since the first time that we put in a PIF for HLC, so there's a lot of things that we need to work on and that have changed. And so she's going to come in and look at where we're at and what we have and see where we need to go and kind of create a plan. And so part of this NTI grant that we have too is also going to help us get there, because it's going to help us get the library and get on our own network, which are 2 of the big criteria. So there's like 5 big criteria now, and there's like 18 things under each one. And so it's a lot. So we're going to start creating a plan, and then she's going to come and do a proposal for the board. And so that's one of my other goals, is to work on that and keep us in order and keep everybody informed. So hopefully one day we could get there. So I think that's about it. July will be my 15th year, and so yeah. And I'm looking forward to making good relationships with the tribe. I know things have been a little rough lately, so anything that we should be at or something we've missed, just let me know. I'll get there. So thank you.
Thank you. Council, any questions of Stacy? I had a quick question on the accreditation. You're going to be having a visitor on that issue, consultant, you say, is that correct?
Yes, she actually works for NICC. And
Oh, okay.
She's a consultant there, and she does institutional advancement assessment. And so she's come to visit us. Well, I actually met her at the HLC. I was at AHEC, the HLC Tribal College. They had a training just for us, and she was at my table, and I hadn't even met her from NICC. So we started talking, and she's very knowledgeable, and that's kind of what she's doing for NICC. They're trying to move up their accreditation for bachelors. And so it will kind of work out too because of our partnership and the way they guide us. And so she's going to come in and do a proposal for the tribe after she's going to have to take some time off. NICC is going to have to be separate, where she can like look at our catalog and our handbooks and all the criteria. She has also worked for the other accrediting agency in the East Coast, so she knows it all like back of her hand.
So is she going to be laying out some recommendations?
She's gonna lay it out, like this is what it would take, these are the criteria, this is what's under it, this is where you are, this is what each step costs, this is the departments you would need, this is where you'd go, and kind of put it on a plan, a proposal, and how she could help get to the, and there's a lot that doesn't take money, but there's a ton that does, but there's a lot of other things that we still have to have in place that we don't have in place, like the handbooks and getting all the HR policies and procedures and all those things that we don't have, the college handbook, the student conduct, all those kinds of things too. So.
Excellent. Well, I know that there's a great interest on the Business Council to see the day, that we do get accredited, and so if there's an appropriate time where members of the Business Council could be briefed or, on the nuts and bolts of that or the recommendations that come forward from her, we would be interested, and, I'd be very interested in sitting down and hearing her provide those recommendations if she's going to do that, at some
I talked to
point.
her about that too. I said March 18th is our BOT meeting. But I think there should be a meeting with just our council and our board where she can, once she evaluates our situation, looks through everything, and she's going to come for a whole week, that she could do a proposal to both councils, just so they'd be informed.
That would be excellent, because
Yeah.
we're kind of partners. I mean, you guys have
Yeah.
your own, there's a separation between the two, as there should be, but we're still deeply interested and supportive, and if we had an opportunity as a council to sit down with her as well as college leadership, on that issue of accreditation and where we're at and what we might do to move the ball forward, why I would certainly encourage all of the PBC members to attend that, and see what we can do to help,
Yeah, she'll be here March 11th, and she flies on the 11th, she flies out the 19th. It'll probably take her 3 or 4 days. She's got a lot of the information I'm sending her now, but she'd probably be ready to present by the 13th, 14th. So maybe in those 14th to the 18th, maybe there's a day we could get that worked out.
That would be
a
good.
time.
That would be excellent, and if you could work with either Jennifer or myself to maybe pick out a time and a date,
Okay.
if that works,
Yeah,
and
we've already talked about it. I think it would be great. It's a great
okay,
idea.
well, we
Please do
would be very interested in that, so wonderful.
that. Okay,
Excellent.
thank you.
Folks, any other questions of Pawnee Nation College representatives?
Sir, I just want to have the opportunity to say how much I appreciate Ms. Burns and the work she's done. I think at our Pawnee Nation we have the staff there are amazing, and folks who are just dedicated and have watched after this. But if there's one vital person, one person we could not do without, it's you. And she's been responsible for most of our funding for, I'm sure, at least 13 of those 14 years.
Yeah.
You have to have that person who can go after those dollars, who can be so detail-oriented and take care of business. And so, that's what we have with her. I so appreciate it. So I wanted you to know how much we appreciate you, and that, I hope you stay with us a very long time.
I will, I'm sure. Thank you.
Folks, any other comments? Okay, well, thank you so much, folks. And Cordelia, don't you have any comments that you'd like to share with us? You come all the way from Kansas to bringing the rain.
And Also, we are just so thankful that the council is in support of the Pawnee Nation College. We are just so very thankful for that. And also, I wanted to do a little correction that our next quarterly meeting for the Board of Trustees is March the 18th. It's going to be March the 18th. And we have met all of our quarterly meetings, and I've been on the board for 9 years now. And so, and again, I'm with you. We have Stacy. I mean, to me, she's, you know, they say you can replace everybody, but she would be unreplaceable. And so we're just so thankful to have her to lead us on. And again, thank you for the support that the council has given us. Have a good day.
Well, thank you, thank you. And it's always nice to see you. And Les, thank you so much for being here with us. Okay, folks. With that, let's just move on. And the next item that we do have here is Pawnee Nation Housing Authority report. George, floor is yours, sir.
That's me.
Secretary Gardapi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, so this quarter, housing's been very busy. We finished out and closed our homeowners assistance fund completely. Also, the emergency rental assistance program, we did receive 77,000 more funds last quarter that we were able to help needy families, and that was also closed out. And in that, Cynthia Butler was our coordinator for ERAP, and she's remained on housing for now to help with our other things that we have going. And I just wanted to say I appreciate her help, because by trade I am a carpenter, and my administrative skills are pretty good, but I was lacking quite a bit until Cynthia came along and showed me where I was wrong. So I am that much better since she's been there. And during this quarter, we were able to help a homeowner with down payment assistance of $10,000. We were involved in the community Christmas program party that we had with the city of Pawnee, and that went really well. And from our standpoint, we were involved with almost everything, so it went quite well. And very, very glad as council supported that effort. So thank you guys for that. During the holidays, we did distribute cards for gift cards for our residents, our tenants, to help with holiday grocery shopping. And I also wanted to make mention that I did talk about a grant that was coming up for housing. It was a $7.5 million grant, but part of that grant was we had to have some leverage to go along with it, which is going to be around $2.5 million for that whole grant. And we kept running short as far as finding a location. You know, we need land specifically for housing, and we haven't identified that. So I think hopefully with this strategic land plan that is being developed, that there's something in there for housing. Otherwise, we're looking at other tracts of land around the city of Pawnee, the county, for future development. So we may have not made this grant application, but we haven't given up. And I know I've talked to some of you council members. Sammy, you've offered to help in that respect, and I appreciate that, because we will be still moving forward on finding a bigger plan and keep moving forward. Because I know there's a lot of grants that keep coming out. And this last month, we did hire a grant writer, Lisa Kraft, who's really good at these kind of grants, and she's a no-cost grant writer. Unless we actually go after something, then it'll cost to have her submit. So, but if we have federal funding, then the grants are reimbursable. So that's why we did it that way. So we're still on it. We're still going to move forward, and we're going to keep trying until we do have something. Because I mean, housing is a big need in our community, and we are not going to stop. So. I think that's the main thing I wanted to come across to you guys, is that, yeah, we didn't get to apply for that grant, but there are other grants coming, and our grant writer seems to think there's a significant one coming this summer. So we're going to keep working on finding a place to put some houses. And I did, during this last quarter, I did attend 3 parts of development planning training, and that was through HUD. And it was really good training, but man, there's a lot to know about that. So I'm glad I was exposed, but I can't just run with development, but can definitely, you know, keep us moving forward to that end. Other than that, I think that's about all I got for housing.
Okay, thank you for that, sir. I appreciate it, and I also want to extend my my thanks on behalf of the Business Council to the Pawnee Housing Authority, you know, for your wonderful work that you do for our people, and I'm hoping that we can find some land, you know, and so let's just keep our fingers crossed and keep our ear to the ground on that, you know, and hopefully we can acquire some suitable land there. So thank you for that. Oh, Sammy, I see your hand is up.
Yes.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. Thanks, George, for your report. Since we do have our tribal members joined in, and we have 2 here, I'd like to know if you could just do just a real high-level listing of what's available right now to our people. What's available right now to our folks?
So we do, under normal housing programs, we have privately owned homes, which we normally have a every year budget of like $50,000 to be able to help homeowners. And we also have a over income homeowners program, which allows us to do 10% of our total grant award for that purpose for over income individuals. However, there is a caveat. It's 80 to 100% of the median income. So it has to fall in between that to be considered over income in this program. So if you're over that, then we don't have a program to qualify. So we just, you know, we have to look at income and make sure that they're qualified to get into that program. Other than that, we do have emergency assistance that we provide to individuals if they're in dire need, if there's a bill that we can pay to keep the lights on, something like that. We do have that, and all our applications are available on PawneeNationHousing.org. So they are there. I think most of them are fillable, so you can actually fill them out and email them back without having to print them off. So we try to make them that way. The down payment assistance, we usually have 1 award, so that award has already been done this year. Our fiscal year runs from October to September. So come October 1st of this year, we'll have a new fiscal year, and we'll have a new award for down payment assistance, which we average about 1 a year. We don't really have more than 1 application in any given year. So that would be available in October, but that one is closed for this year. As far as the privately owned homes, there were a few homeowners from the Homeowner Assistance Fund that were not served, and so we have transferred a few of those over, and now we're looking at those right now to determine who has the greatest need, because we do have a priority. We go with elders, veterans, disabled first, always. That's what we always go with. So we're looking at the most needy first, and then making the determination from there. But we have helped a couple from the Homeowners Assistance Fund already. So I'm going through all those files that we're making new files, and they're really organized and nice, thanks to some other influences. But yes, that's what we have right now. And I know in the normal circumstances we have this money, but we've used quite a bit of it already to help people who weren't served, who have already applied through the Homeowners Assistance Fund. So we're just trying to keep it going and keeping those individuals who are most needy in our tribe the help they need. So right now I think that's where we're at, and we have a lot of information too on our website for all our programs that we have. If I know I've forgotten things, but
No, that's okay. I just, pardon me, I wanted to have people hear you, you know, and what's available today, and what we can look forward to, if there's any homes available that we may have tribal members looking for housing right now, you know, what's open, what's not, and that type of thing. I think it's really important that we reach out at this level, with this audience in our quarterly meetings to know what we're doing. Thank you very much.
Oh, no
I
problem.
appreciate you.
No problem.
Thank you, Sammy. So with that, thank you for your report on the housing, Secretary Garda P. And the next up is moving down the agenda. Here's the Tribal Development Corporation report. And I believe I see Chairman Goodfox, as well as Executive Director Bob Demick from the TDC. Gentlemen, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And I'd like to turn the floor over to you for the quarterly report, if I may. Thank you.
Noah, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Great. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. There are currently 5 sitting members of the PDC Board of Directors, 3 of which are tribal members. Gaming operating revenue for the fourth quarter is up 4% from the fourth quarter of 2021. Gaming operations other than TP are not operating on the maximum number of hours and days compared to 2019. Stone Wolf is open Sunday through Thursday 10 to 10 and Friday and Saturday 10 to 2 a.m. Trading Post is open Tuesday through Saturday 10 until 6. Retail operating revenue for the fourth quarter is up 24% from the fourth quarter of 2021. Food and beverage operating revenues for the fourth quarter are up 23%. PTDC has paid $30,000 to the tribe for rents in the fourth quarter for Trading Post and the offices. We have paid $300,000 in assessments to the nation in the fourth quarter. And in just FYI, in 2021, the monthly assessment was $50,000 per month. So we pay $100,000 a month. Payments to First Secure Bank for interest and principal resumed in May 2021 for $121,636 per month per our agreements. TDC continues to be current and on time through the fourth quarter of 2022, and the relationship with the bank is excellent. Cash and cash equivalents for the quarter ending in 2022 is 32% lower than the same period in 2021. And I do have some reasons here as to why that is down. In the fourth quarter of 2021, it was include the sale of Pawnee Star and BJ's, which was an additional $303,000. That was above our regular operating deposits. And then we had an additional $415,000 increase in assessments paid to the tribe in over the same time in 2021 versus 2022. And then we had a $282,000 increase in fixed assets, which is like we bought a Toyota Tacoma, a Gator, cash dispenser deposits. We had a roof repair at Snack and Pack, and we bought the land in Yale. And we had ice machines replaced at the Wolf. And then we had a $61,000 increase in prepaid items. And what these were insurance policies and maintenance agreements. And we have gotten some new, we just started some cybersecurity, and we have cybersecurity insurance with all the hacks that's been going on with some of the other casinos. So we should be protected. Operating revenues for the fourth quarter of 2022 had an increase of 15% over 2021. Operating expenses for the fourth quarter 2022 were up 12% above the fourth quarter of 2021, and this is mainly due to inflation. Gaming operations for the fourth quarter ran a profit of almost $950,000. Retail operations made a profit of $74,000. Retail operations net profit was let me see here. Retail operations net revenue profit for Q4 was $10,412. The Wolf ran a deficit of $82,318. And so the overall TDC profit for all locations combined for the fourth quarter was $260,810, which led, after assessments, after the $300,000 in assessments, gave us a loss of almost $40,000. So, in particular, Stone Wolf showed a 3.87% increase over last year. Trading Post ran at a 98% increase but it was down most last year. And then TP is down 7.37%, and that is because we had an increase of $135,643 in jackpots. So, in personnel, current personnel through May, current personnel is 19 enrolled Pawnees, which is 15%. And we have a total of 126 employees, and I believe that we have around 38 openings, I think, and then a few more in security, I believe. So, you guys have any questions?
Yes, Sammy's question is, do we have a written report? Has that been submitted for the quarterly report?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It would be, it was emailed with along, is that correct, Jamie?
This was,
Yes, it's in our reports.
okay.
Folks, any
On the-
other questions to Jeff?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Sure.
Because we talked about this a lot in the past year about the hours and stuff like that. And it was mentioned that the Post had a 98% increase from the last time. And it would kind of seem like that would be okay and that would be decent, right? Considering that we're not at full capacity yet, And so I think that that's something to think about. What if we were at full capacity? What if we had the staffing? What if we had the hours that were open the way they were back then, of how much the increase in that would be? So I just wanted to make that comment because it just makes you think that, we're coming post-pandemic now and it's time to start, you know what I mean? Just throwing it out there.
Completely agree.
Yes, I think that's a good question, and I know that the virus is still with us, Jeff, and also Bob, but I understand that President Biden in May is supposed to be declaring an end to the COVID emergency restrictions. And so my general question would be, from the gaming standpoint, are we basically into the new normal at this point, or are you still coping with and being hampered by the pandemic? What is your view of that?
I think so. I think we're getting back. As I told you, we had, we are making all of our bank payments now. We're making full payments of $100,000 to the nation now. And then we were able to start buying stuff that we have been put on hold due to this, due to the lack of income. Our like just replacing them, and the vehicle was a much needed, with this weather that we have, and putting off like the snack and pack roof repair, all of this stuff. We're just catching up from where we were, just in stay mode last year,
Okay.
So, and then, we were able to purchase the land in Yale that we might not have been able to do last year.
Thank you for that. And also, so I guess as to the hours that we're open and the staffing needs that we have, are we, is it good as it's going to be, or are we still in a pandemic mode with regard to our hours and with regard to our staff needs?
It's staffing need for it's that way everywhere all across. It's that way over here in Stillwater. It's just tough. There's it's just hard to bring employees in to drive over and get through the gaming commission. You know, they have to pass the gaming, get their gaming license. So it's nothing that the other casinos aren't seeing as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Folks, any other questions? TDC. Hearing none, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for being with us this Saturday, and thank you for your quarterly report and for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and have a good evening.
Yes, have a great weekend, gentlemen. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so this brings us to the Executive Director report. Jennifer, floor is yours.
Thank you. I tell you, this is like the best quarterly report. Everybody's just doing such great reports, and it's off the cuff and it's good. Okay, so this last quarter in 2022, the things that executive office have been busy on is we've been working on our war on trauma, the Pawnee Scout Task Force, updating our law and ordinances, tightening up our public health initiatives, celebrating the holidays, and also mourning some of our loved ones. So I'm going to go over each one of those things real quick so we can move on to other things. As part of our trauma, one of the things that we're doing in talking head on with our war on trauma is we've been having conversations, difficult conversations with our staff as well as with our community. The PBC women, and the Nasharo Council, and I met with our community members last November to have just a community meeting, and we had a really good discussion about some of the needs that we have. From that community meeting, we had some really good needs assessment, if you will. So we were able to work with IHS as well as law enforcement to make some changes. From that, IHS has gone to their headquarters, and they are going to bring on 3 new trauma-informed counselors for the Pawnee Nation Health IHS, and then they're also going to start working more on telehealth around trauma. It brought awareness to them because they weren't aware that they weren't ready to handle trauma. They were ready for everything else, but they hadn't really talked about trauma, so this was a good thing. Also, in the city of Pawnee, the Pawnee Buffalo Theater, they contacted the executive office and they said, we're really excited about what the tribe's doing. We want to partner with you, so if we can show movies or if we can do anything with you, we're interested in that. So other places in the city is coming forward and I'm wanting to be a part of that, so we're going to see what we can do with that. So if you guys have ideas, love to hear it because it would be great for us to synergize. Our Behavioral Health Center it's getting closer, so we're really excited about that. It's projected to have a groundbreaking for May of 2023, and if the weather's good, then we are projecting services available pending the weather, again, like I said, in September 2024. We've also been working with our Pawnee Scout Task Force on getting data from social services to identify trends within our community. So we've been working with Chief Canuho as well as all of our social services. And what we're doing is we're tracking data as far as how many of the calls are happening in the city and the issues that we're having with social services and how that is affecting the community. So one of the good things from that is our the Native Alliance Against Violence. They work closely with our Violence Against Women program and our Indian Child Welfare program. They have come to us and said, hey, we would like to train our judges and justices on how, right now currently at our own court, whenever men, women, or children go to court in Pawnee, they often unintentionally will get re-traumatized by things. So I met with Chief Justice Smith, who is the head of our Supreme Court for Pawnee Nation. He was really excited about giving training to his judges and justices. So our own VAWA and our own Indian Child Welfare people are going to be teaching our judges and justices information on that. So I was really excited about that, that our Chief Justice was so open to that. So we're doing that. Last quarter, as the COVID numbers were going up within the city and the county, I was really happy that we really locked down at Pawnee Nation and we started following more closely our trial public health initiatives with our Turk program. So as the numbers were going up around the community and the city, Pawnee Nation's numbers were not moving. They were standing still, so that was good. So we have a really good team that keeps in charge of that. We also, last quarter, with the PBC, they approved our infrastructure plan. This infrastructure plan is basically everything that we are wanting to do with energy, water, land, and air. And with that, we're going to be creating an infrastructure task force, and they're going to be developing all of the plans for it, as well as our timeline, developing feasibility studies with our engineers, and then working with PBC and Executive Office to create an overall program of how that's going to be tackled. That is a 5-year program, and we're right on track with that. So the task force should be done by March. So Chris McCrae is going to be heading that off. He's part of our Utilities Commission, and he knows all of the people that we need in emergency services, as well as with environmental studies and engineers that we have at DNRS. So he's going to lead that off for us. I know we talked a little bit about the Pawnee Community Christmas Party. It was such a great event that our PBC members did, and our community the city, thank you, the city council partnered together. But I just wanted to share that 146 children came, and 86 bikes were given out, and 138 board games were raffled off. It was such a good event. And I have to say, I live in Yellow Horse, so every day and every night you just see tons of kids going up and down the road with their new bikes. They have a ball. It just warms my heart every time because they have a ball out there. They just love those bikes. Also, I wanted to share on a personal note with our work family. We lost a very dear employee, Roberta Adonko, and so also in December we had a time where the PBC and our staff, we came together and we just kind of were there for each other. We mourned together, we honored her, and so in honor of her in the future, we're going to have the Berta Awards going forward. So I just wanted to say her name and at least just acknowledge that because it was a big loss to us all. And then we have all of our other division reports online. Happy to share that. If you go online, you can see all kinds of detail. Or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, come to the executive office, and I'm happy to help in any way. You guys have any questions?
Council, floor is yours. Any questions or comments? I would just like to say that as president, I have the privilege of working pretty close with Jennifer, and it's just a joy to see her do her thing in the executive office. It's very refreshing, to see the inspiration and the hands-on work that she performs for the nation, and interacting with the staff and the division directors, and I just wanted to add that my view, we're very, very fortunate, to have such a wonderful executive director, and I thank you for your report. Any other comments of Jennifer on her report, folks? Hearing none, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on. Next up is the Attorney General report, and I see that Attorney General Smith is with us virtually. Attorney General, the floor is yours, and welcome to our quarterly meeting, sir. Good to see you.
Well, thank you very much. I can't see you, so I assume you can see me and can hear.
Yes.
I'll try to be brief. We have ongoing discussions and pending litigation with the EPA over the Midnight Rider. The president can probably address that if more clarity is necessary. But it seems like discussions are proceeding favorably. The Earth Justice firm is very astute. We've had positive conversations with the EPA, and it's a good relationship. And I think the viable and satisfactory result will occur. In tribal court, we have the Bellberger-Brawley lawsuit still pending. It's set for trial in June of this year. Basically, it was a breach of contract claim for the architect's failure to complete work on a road in the Pawnee Nation in Pawnee. Legal issues that are still pending: force fee patents that have historical injustice, where Bureau of Indian Affairs forced Indians, Pawnees, to take the fee to their land, which resulted in them being subject to taxation, all against their will. We prepared a demand letter for AT&T. We have decided to wait to seek authority to sue, but it's basically their contractors broke a water line on the Pawnee Nation campus Christmas Eve of 2022. We've requested arbitration with Bacone College in behalf of the Pawnee Community College for their breach of contract, and we've claimed some $70,000 to $80,000 of damages. They have slow walked the effort to arbitrate or mediate, and so we're at the decision point whether to bring an action in the Pawnee court to compel mediation or arbitration. And I will follow up with Stacy Burns about this action. Had a lot of conversations with her predecessor. We reviewed a case that we lost. Actually, we didn't lose it. The Chickasaws and Choctaws lost it in the Oklahoma Supreme Court. We filed a protective lawsuit in the instance that they won, that we would also could follow in their coattails to recover for lost profits resulting from COVID. The Oklahoma Supreme Court held that under the insurance policy that we and the Chickasaws and Choctaws had, the insurance company was not liable for lost profits due to COVID. I also reviewed settlement documents for COVID. We've actually had 2 batches of settlements. The first one was several months ago, involving the actual manufacturers. Now the second batch is basically the retailers who sold opioid medicines. Even though there's a settlement in the works, the payment under those settlements can reach up to 15 years, so there's not a lot of money up front. But it may be a consistent source of funds for several years to help deal with the opioid epidemic. I've had the opportunity to participate in changing provisions of the gaming ordinance, the TDC Articles of Incorporation, to try to isolate their work to focus basically on gaming and not other kinds of industries. provided the Constitutional Convention with advice and attended their meetings. And the council had been apprised as the progress of the Constitution. Also, it's an ongoing project to prepare documents and review contracts with the Indian Electric Cooperative under the Reconnect grants and business models. You've been briefed very thoroughly on the great opportunity and potential there. We've done similar work for the Pawnee Mental Health LLC, reviewing construction contracts, operating agreements, master agreements, trying to solidify the relationship between Pawnee Mental Health LLC and Ascension and other partners. Of course, I've attended government documents, intergovernmental affairs meetings, provided advice to the executive director on personnel issues, and we've had in the last month or two a couple of more additionally interesting projects in terms of codification, assisting in the effort against trauma. And that pretty much sums it up. So I stand ready to answer any questions and appreciate the opportunity of being part of the Pawnee Nation team.
Thank you for that, Attorney General Smith. It seems like he has a lot of very diverse issues on his plate, and so far has been able to handle everything that we've thrown his way. Folks, are there any questions of Chad, please? Comments or questions? Hearing none. I want to thank you very much for your quarterly report, sir, and thank you for being here and presenting for us, and I appreciate your wonderful work that you've been doing for the nation. And I will add that I certainly enjoy working with Chad on many of these issues. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And have a great weekend. Okay. All right. So next we're going to the item here then is the approval of the 2022 Pawnee Nation fourth quarterly report for our divisions. And Jamie, I understand that those are uploaded or emailed to us. They're both, okay, both uploaded and emailed, Council. So what are we looking for here? Any conversation, comments, motion to approve? What is your pleasure, Council? Cynthia?
I'll make a motion to approve the division quarterly reports for the fourth quarter.
Thank you for that. Is there any second to the motion, folks?
I'll second.
Thank you for that, Secretary Gardapi. We have a motion and a second. Any comment on the motion, folks? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Jordan Canuho? Yes. George Gardner, yes. Carol Chapman?
Yes.
Cynthia Butler?
Yes.
Gene Evans?
Yes.
Sammy Kimball?
Yes.
Thank you, Council. Motion carries. Next up is the approval of 2022 Pawnee Nation quarterly reports for our committees, commissions, and boards. And this document has also been uploaded and emailed, as I understand it, as well. So are there any comments on this report, please? Cynthia?
So I did notice that there were a few commissions that didn't report. Are we still trying to get those? Like, I think it was Utility Commission, and I think maybe the Turk Committee. Even if it just says, like on the Turk Committee, if they haven't met, they have minutes, though, when they do meet, right? Even if it's just those minutes that say that they have met and what they talked about, I think that would be appropriate.
Yes, and the Turk is my fault. So I will get that ready.
I'll make a motion to approve with adding those to the final report. And if we can get the final report sent to us so we can review it. Because I'd like to see it. I read all these reports, guys. It's a lot of information, so I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you for the second, Secretary Gardapi. Any comment on the motion, folks? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. This brings us to the approval of the 2022 Pawnee Nation Fourth Quarterly Report, Financial Report, please. And Carol, I take it? that
Yes,
would be-
it's included in Teams, and it's quite lengthy.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial quarterly reports.
I'll second.
Thank you for the motion and the second. Folks, we have a pending motion. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. That concludes our quarterly reports. And our next item up is new business, and we have two items here. The first is approval of Resolution 23-05, 2023 Tribal Budget Extension. And who's going to present on it?
I will. That is asking for another 2-week extension to have it finished by the last day of this month. We're almost there to get the balanced budget. We still have a few items that we've got to clear up yet. So we should have it for sure by a balanced budget by the end of this month. That's just asking for a 2-week extension.
Thank you, Treasurer Chapman. Folks, Cynthia?
I just have maybe a possible edit. On that last whereas where it says Budget Committee has reviewed the tribal budgets and recommends approval to the Pawnee Business Council. Could we reword that? Because to me, it kind of sounded like we were going ahead and submitting the tribal budgets. So maybe to say the Budget Committee is still in review of the tribal budgets and recommends to the PBC to extend the deadline to February 28, 2023.
Yes.
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 And then also, just throwing this out for suggestion, because, I had people asking me, well, what does that mean for our budgets? Maybe another whereas at the end that says all tribal budgets will operate business as usual with 2022 budget amounts. Because people were wondering, well, what do I know what's in my budget? If my budget hasn't been approved, so a continuing resolution, that's what that does. You just continue with your previous year budget. So I think maybe to clarify that,
Yes.
because like I said, I had questions and that's how I explained it. But then told them to
So-
go to the executive director because they could better explain it to them. Just
That's good.
throwing that out
I
there.
agree. Yeah, so
All right.
Jamie can.
Thank you. And I'll make the motion to approve with revisions.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve with Cynthia's revisions and a second. So any comment on the motion, folks? Hearing none, call for the vote, please, sir.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. Next item is approval of Resolution 2307, Armstrong Cattle Account. And who is going to present on that, please?
I will. This is the final conclusion for an earlier resolution that the PBC did to create a separate bank account for the proceeds that are being produced from our cattle operation, our 4B cattle company. And we are just now getting the bank account set up for those amounts to be placed in a separate account to go back in to keep the cattle expenses paid.
Thank you for that, Carol. Folks, Cynthia, I see your hand is up. I'll recognize
I
you.
just have one suggestion because it was kind of, it just clarifies it a little bit. On the last whereas, where it says the bank account names will be, can we add one in parentheses and then that name and then and a two in parentheses? Because we're doing two accounts on this resolution. And that just kind of separates that. That way we know which accounts is for which. That be okay?
That's okay.
Thank you.
Jamie will fix it.
And I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Thank you, ladies. We have a motion and a second for approval with the revisions that Cynthia mentioned. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Just a quick second, sorry about
ahead.
that.
Go ahead.
But the be it further resolved, am I not? So it says that we've got 4 officers in the business council who can sign accounts and signature cards. And I guess it doesn't, I guess it needs just to say that it's, for these accounts, I guess, and that makes sense to me. It was just saying we've got folks who can sign for the business council. It doesn't say for what.
It says it in the now therefore be it resolved, the first prayer. It says what it's for. It's for these two accounts, and then be it further resolved, these are the signature authorities.
Okay,
It's just standard practice to separate it.
gotcha. It just read funny.
Well, because I did the same thing, and I was like, where does it say that what we're doing? No, it's there.
Thank you, sorry.
Thank you for that, Councilman Evans. Any other comments?
Just on the next to the last whereas, the Pawnee Nation will set up 2 accounts. Just take out the is.
Yes. Take out is on that. Thank you for that, sir. Any other comments, folks? This is very constructive and productive. Okay, so I'm looking for, or do we have a motion already? We have a motion, okay, with these changes. Call for the vote, please.
Jordan Canuo,
Yes.
George Gardner, P.S., Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. This brings us to open forum, and I see that we have some ladies here and some folks online. Does anyone here have any remarks that they would like to present at this time to the Business Council? Leanna Chapman or Teeter, your hand is up. Floor is yours.
Okay, this question is for Gene, Councilman Gene Evans. You're on the Medical Advisory Committee, and I'm not sure what that involves, but would it be something where you all could consider purchasing those medical alert necklace, whatever they are? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Life alert,
What?
the life alert.
Yeah, for elders, all tribal elders that live around here and Yale, Payne County.
Actually, that's a fantastic idea, and yeah, that's definitely something we can look
It
into.
is very needed.
Yeah. No, I love those, and I think they're super useful and just
Is
a
it-
very needed thing. I think it's a great idea. It's
Yeah,
definitely
it
something we can
is.
look into.
Can you, do you have any idea how you can get them ordered, purchased, or whatever? Anyone?
Well, Jennifer
And say we have
is what I was going to recommend. Jennifer, we have CHR accounts and stuff. Would there be any funding in there first before we?
I've been asked that before because I agree with you. It is so needed. And no, there's no funding for that. So it'd have to be from
Okay.
another source.
Well, if you would get the cost together,
Sure.
get a company and get
bet.
that ready to present to the council,
bet.
we will most certainly
I would
take
appreciate
care of
that.
That's a good
So-
idea.
These
Yeah.
are family members and tribal
So-
members, and they live all
Yes,
over,
that's very
alone
needed.
out in the country.
I would also like, Jennifer, for you to do this to, because we've talked about it also, is to see if we can possibly work out anything for a traveling elders nurse. So would you check on what a salary would be and benefits for a traveling nurse? I know we have a lot of elders who live out in the country, and other tribes have this where the nurse just goes from elder house to elder house, makes sure they have their medications correct, checks their sugar, makes sure they don't have COVID, just tends to the general welfare, like if they need a service, like for physical therapy or anything like that. Just, that would be a full-time job for one nurse for our community, just to take care of our elders and our disabled. So if you'd also get that ready for the council?
Yep, great idea.
Okay, thank you.
I thought that's what CHRs did.
Well, so from which part do you mean?
The checking on our elders.
Well, so they do. However, they're not nurses. They can't give you medication. They can't do anything
course
like
not.
that.
Of course
So this is something different. That would be great.
I
Someone that
didn't
can-
see that as being different. I thought they were just going to ensure that they had medications and that they were okay.
Well, this is a traveling nurse. Is that right?
Well,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's calling it a traveling nurse, but I thought our CHRs had that as a job role today, is to check in on elders. I'll tell you what,
They
no
do.
one's ever checked in on my mom. Nobody
Wow.
has ever checked in on my mother.
Well,
So how many other ones are sitting out there not being checked on, okay?
Well, and this is something I will say, is that I agree, we need to be checking on people. We are short-staffed on CHR, and also CHRs, we've been doing things that we're not supposed to be doing, but we're doing it to help elders, just like taking them to dialysis appointments, trying to help as much as we can. And so with short-staff and with, a lot of appointments going on.
Yeah, I think-
However, I do agree.
I think we should take it offline, that whole
Agreed.
discussion. But back to you, Leanna, I just bought my mom her Life Alert. There is a company that you call, and it's $200 to get the equipment and get the setup and everything, and then it's $100 a month. And that's out of pocket. So it's really a great tool. My Aunt Wanda Canujo was really inspired me to get that right then and there, and that's what I chose to do. If the nation can fund that, well, that's wonderful. But I felt it imperative that my mother have that since she does live alone.
Reimburse or even pay a part of it would
Yeah.
help a bunch.
Yeah.
But the tribe provides so much in so many other ways for other things that it seems like it could be found someplace for all the elders and disabled. So please look into that. Dr. Evans, did you have any more to say?
Well, I did want to say about the traveling nurse side of things that we have been trying to work with some folks on a CHAP program, Community Health Assistant Program. And the whole point to that is to have people whose job is to do just going to check on folks and get them, do they have the services they need, and to connect them, not necessarily a nurse, but someone who is trained in that. That's not a completed thing. We're hoping that that's going to come through, but it should be a fantastic thing and a great benefit to our overstretched CHR program.
Yeah. Jennifer, has the CHRs worked with the IHS, what is she called, the health nurse?
I'm not sure, but I'll find out for you.
Because I was having problems with a relative. He could not get anything from anyone with the tribe. It was upsetting to him. And so I went to IHS, talked to the health nurse, and she took care of everything, and he appreciates everything that was provided.
Yeah.
So they might try to work together. He said, well, we need a lot more personality in each of the offices of the tribe.
Yeah.
It's very trying. So I hope that you would all work on that as
Yes.
much as you're working on everything
Yes.
worldly or whatever.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's important. It's true.
Oh, one more thing, Sammy.
Yep.
You were talking about the cemetery?
Uh-huh.
Well, I know several individuals and families that have talked about cremation. And I don't, is there a way there could be a crematory, no, not a crematory, mausoleum type little building or something that could be set up for the tribal members, because we are losing a lot, since that's what you all say, our members are passing away, so they'll be filling up the cemeteries. But anyway, that would be nice to have a nice little.
That's a great question, Leanna, and I have a cemetery committee meeting tomorrow evening,
Okay,
and I'll vet that.
okay.
And,
I have seen a pretty one, a really nice one that I thought, well, that would be nice just for our family. So,
Right. Well, I'll be happy to bring
Okay.
that up to the committee level tomorrow.
okay,
Thank you.
okay,
That's
thank
great.
you.
And I
That's all.
agree with you, Carol. We certainly need someone out there checking.
Mm-hmm.
No
Right.
one's- no one's
Maybe
been out to
some
my
better
mom's.
coordination
Yep.
too with the CHR's letting those that are letting the tribe know if we had a nurse that there are severe cases out there that need medical attention. So, yeah, we can do a better job of that and certainly try. And on the crematory issue, I like that idea. A lot of our people, well, just in the whole world now, are getting cremated. And that would be something I would think too, that would be a nice addition to that. So that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'll bring that up tomorrow. Thank you.
Cynthia?
I just wanted to say something along the lines of what Sammy and Carol were talking about the traveling nurse. Is that not what the caregiver position does in the Title VI? Because is that not what their job description is to check
Right.
on the elders and to go and make sure that they got certain things done? And so then why, could we possibly maybe put it there because they're more interactive with the elders? You know what I mean? Hire for that position and put it there instead of CHRs, because CHRs just take you to and from your appointment.
Well, and that's
But-
what I want to talk with Tiffany about, is I think that this is something we could synergize with several of them, because there's funding for each of them, and then we could create something a little bit more
But then that-
innovative and
And that gets back to
stretching.
post-pandemic, that gets back to getting out of that and actually doing it, right?
Right.
I'm not trying to
Yeah.
be controversial, I don't want to be, I don't want to, it just, you would think that that's what is happening, and you think that that's what's going on whenever it's already in and written into their positions.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make that comment, because it's just like,
Yeah.
well, then, anyways, thank you.
Yeah.
Cindy, all we have is the bus driver.
I understand they mainly work with the homebound, not everybody, and especially not those that live out of way out of town, like in Payne County, that don't attend that. So it's very limited.
But I think that that would be appropriate for where it would be, because like I said, they interact with the elders more than what a CHR driver would do.
Sammy, what did you say the cost of that? What did you say the cost of that medical ID thing is?
It was $200 billed for the equipment. So you have a transmittal box, right, that sits in your home. And then you have a life alert that you wear at your home. Then you also have a GPS unit that you can use. And so if you're driving like you ladies are, independent and going about, if you had an emergency on the side of the road, you could push your button and they could find you right then and there. It's really a great benefit. Not only that you fell and you're hurt or whatever, but even if you had somebody knocking on your door at 2 a.m. and you're out in the country, you could just push that button and boy, they're going to be right there. So it's a really nice service. It's worth it. The service itself is $100 a month after the $200 expense for the equipment.
How much a month?
100. Yeah. It's 33, it's $25 a week, really, when you think about that, and then you start doing the math and breaking that down, it's really well worth the money spent, I think. Yeah. You do what you gotta do, you know? I don't want her to fall and us not know that for 9 hours. So, oh, and then you even have a button in your bathroom. So in her master bath, in her shower, she has a button that's kind of like at knee level. So if she falls, she just pushes that button, and those people start talking to her. What's the matter? Not trying to sell it, but I think it's the life alert. Sure. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Okay, council. Folks, any other questions or want to address the council? I see your hand is shaking, Auntie. Floor is yours. Ann Collins.
Just want to invite everybody to the Elder Fundraiser Breakfast Saturday over at the Title VI building. We're going to start about 8:30. But if you're there at 8, you can have coffee and a donut. For $7. Our chef is going to fix bacon and egg casserole, biscuits and sausage, hash brown, and coffee and orange juice. And we're going to stay as long as the egg casserole lasts. The eggs are too much to make anymore. And we'd like to invite everybody to come over. If you can't make it, we'll always take donations.
Thank you. Folks, are there anyone online, Jamie, that has any questions to the council or comments to make?
Oh, and I wanted to share that the money goes towards the Grandparents' Day dance, right? Yeah. That'll be good.
On the live, Deb Echohawk had asked, Jennifer, how does the infrastructure plan include, or does the infrastructure plan include water softener for the greenhouse so the expensive water system will not have to be replaced in a few years due to the mineral buildup beyond function?
And the answer is yes. So we are working right now with IHS engineers along with Amy. Amy is our consultant that we work with, and our plan is to do a complete water filtration plant that's going to get rid of our, what are they called again? No, what are we getting rid of? I went blank.
The hard water?
Yeah, but no, the wastewater goes into lagoons, thank you. Yes, the lagoons is helping with that issue, so, but yes, we have that planned in there. And that will be the same as doing a water softener. It's going to purify that.
Okay, anything else, Jamie? All right, so that concludes our open forum, and our next item is to set the next meeting date. Council, what are your wishes, please? Carol, do you have any budget issues coming up? Or folks, any other time-sensitive matters?
It would be good to have it on the 28th,
Sounds good here, folks.
pass the balanced budget.
Good. We can bring a bottle of some kind of champagne or something with a cork.
If you want.
Okay. Vice President, do you got anything that's coming up that would alter that? Okay. Folks, how does that sound? The 28th? Dr. Evans, okay? Is that
Yes,
okay?
as long as it's late afternoon.
Late afternoon? Okay. 4 o'clock? Cynthia, 4 o'clock, sound okay? Okay, so the 28th at 4 o'clock, PBC meeting. Okay. Excellent. So we have our meeting date, and the clock on the wall now says it's time to adjourn. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make that motion. I'll second. I'll second.
Who made the motion?
Sammy made the motion, I second.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Sammy and Cynthia.
Okay. Thank you for the motion, Sammy, and thank you, Cynthia, for the second. Call for the vote, please, sir.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardner, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Thank you for the motion, folks. The time is 2:45, and we are dismissed. Thank you for your input, everyone, and tribal members as well. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you for that record time, President.
Jamie. Communications. Who's there? You still there?
Yes.
Hey, I
Oh,
don't know if-
Mr. Rice.
Oh yeah, I was just trying to get communications to know that our internet at the tribe went down. I don't know if anybody couldn't hear anything, but I didn't want to interrupt the meeting. Okay, well, that's good. Oh, okay, okay, good. Okay. Okay. All righty. I was just trying to mention, because we just got emails, everybody around the reserve is getting